All right. We got Ann Magnuson coming on, and I think she's here.
Just called right there.
Ann Magnuson, is this you?
Yes, it is.
Oh, my
Corey,
God. Thank you so much. It's me. It's Corey from the radio.
Yes, of course. Can you hear me okay? I'm on a speakerphone, and I don't know if that's acceptable or not.
You actually sound really good, and I'm not going to be a jerk and say, can you take it off? But you sound excellent, so just keep it on. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. I can. Well, you know what? I'm wondering if this is better. How long are we? Am I on the air now?
Oh, yeah, I put you right on the air. I'm so sorry. Should I take you off the air?
No, it's okay.
I
just wondered how long we were going to be talking for.
Let's do a quick 10. What do you say?
That's fine. I just wanted to know how long I should put this up on my ear and hopefully not get a brain tumor.
Listen, put it on speakerphone and relax. Kick your feet up. And look, I already cut into 3.
Ironically, you sound better on speakerphone.
See?
So I have put it back on speakerphone.
I think I just wasted half the interview trying to convince you to put it back on speakerphone.
Yes, I know. We should just shut up.
All right, let me introduce you to my audience right now because I want to let you know who Ann Magnuson is. I mean, you do know who Ann Magnuson is, but if you don't, you know her from such movies as The Hunger and Making Mr. Right and Desperately Seeking Susan, and you know her bands like Pulse Lama and Bongwater, and her solo work. It is actress, musician, writer, performance artist, poet, and all-around genius. Ann Magnuson, thank you so much for being on. I'm so happy. I've always wanted to talk to you. And
oh my God, I'm blushing. I'm getting the vapors. Thank you for that amazing introduction.
Oh, no problem. I've been listening to your new CD all week, and I really love it. It's so good. It's called Dream Girl. And how was the release party last night at the Steve Allen Theater?
It was so great. It was the first time we performed the material live.
Oh,
so
did you do every song on the album?
Yeah, we did a live show at the Steve Allen Theater here in Los Angeles.
I love that place.
Yeah, it was great, and boy, it went so well that, man, I got to find somebody to sponsor this so I could take it on the road.
Yeah, come to SF.
Doritos, maybe they would be interested.
Doritos presents Ann Magnuson's Dream Girl Live. I think that could happen.
Or maybe a cat product, since Cat in the Sun.
What flavor Doritos would you want to sponsor your tour?
Johnny Cat litter.
Okay.
We certainly use enough of it.
Let me ask you about... I heard you did a Bongwater song for an encore. Was that true or is that a rumor?
Yes, we did. We did, too. We did Chicken Pussy.
I love Chicken
Pussy.
Pussy.
On the air. It's internet, so we can say anything. Right?
Yeah, you can say fuck, chicken pussy, power pussy, whatever you want. Miss Pussy Pants, all that stuff.
Yes. Actually, the older I get, I wonder, do I really want to be saying those things anymore?
Well, you did...
It went over well, and then we did Everybody's Talking that has the dream about helping suicides in Chicago.
Oh, right.
And so it ended on a very upbeat, positive, life-affirming note, and we can't have too much of that in the world right now.
That's true. So, Dream Girl is the new CD, and I know, like, I love Bongwater. I'm a huge fan, and I know a lot of that stuff, or at least some of the songs are based on stuff out of your dream journal. Is this related as well to that kind of dream logic, that thread that goes through your work? When you talk about Dream Girl, are you talking about literal dreams?
Yes, most of the material did come from dreams that I had, and a couple of things not so much, but like Be a Satyr, that actually was some personal experience from the past. And just a song I was sort of singing around the house. But everything else, besides Cat in the Sun, that was also a song I was singing around the house to our cat.
Oh, you're one of those people that sing to your animals.
I think everyone who has an animal
sings,
that's true.
Or
at least speaks.
Yeah, you make up, yeah.
They're familiar very, very often and quite intimate.
Does your cat like the new album?
I think so. We have a new cat now, and she's got some Maine Coon in her. And
oh, nice. I've always wanted one of those. All right, let me ask you about some of the songs real quick, because I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to try to make it quick.
I'm not in any rush, so...
Oh, cool. Well, okay.
Chill out.
So you have, straight... As soon as you turn on the record, it like, at least for me, it brings me back to this, like, time of like real weird. It brings me into a world that I don't experience much anymore. And it was a world when I was growing up where there was like a lot of cool weirdness in the mainstream, like Talking Heads and Oingo Boingo and stuff like that. And Ann Magnuson was on TV doing poetry, and it's like right away it just brings me into this world. So there's a lot of performance on it and a lot of just normal standard songs. But I want to talk about some of the spoken word kind of stuff. So you have a song called Bromance Nightmare on this album.
Right. That was actually a dream that I had.
Oh, it was? Because it gets really dark towards the end. Oh, so that was just that's just
a
straight.
Dream where I was working as a domestic for some bro from a Judd Apatow movie, and it just everything that's on there happened, and then I ended up going down these stairs with him and into this strange world that looked like the Phantom of the Opera, the Lon Chaney silent movie version, of course, or Les Miserables. We were in the sewers of Paris, and then it turned into a warped version of the vintage Jungle Safari ride at Disneyland, and then all these Amazon warriors show up and start throwing spears, but then I realize it's my chance to escape.
So you mentioned, yeah, and it's like your lyrics are so very visual. Like I really, it's for a dummy like me, I really actually picture it really well. So you talk about Disneyland in that song. You talk about Disneyland, the Doom Buggies in another song.
Right. Yes, Disneyland is. Well, I grew up watching The Wonderful World of Disney. I grew up watching a lot of TV, and there was a lot of puppets on TV back when I some of my earliest memories are of Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. These are all things that your younger viewers, your younger listeners can look up. Kukla, Fran, and Ollie.
I watched a whole bunch. I marathoned a whole bunch of Kukla, Fran, and Ollie episodes just recently. Actually, they were really great, and it was all improvised. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, I think. No, maybe I didn't. That's really cool.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Yeah, there was also Beanie and Cecil that was animated. Cecil the dragon was a puppet.
Yeah.
Kind of It was bizarre. There was a lot of bizarre stuff. Captain Kangaroo had a lot of puppets.
Well, I always noticed the Disneyland.
And Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
Oh, of course.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, Sherry Lewis. And then I remember when I was a kid, I was watching some public access show, and there was a video of you and Kramer like goofing around Disneyland. So I've just always
that's a video for the drum.
Oh, okay.
Actually, at the time, I was going out with this guy named Brad Dunning, and we went to Disneyland, and Brad shot that and edited it together. So he's the official director of that.
Oh, so yeah, I've always just noticed this Disneyland theme in your work, and I wanted to know if there was some kind of connection there. But now I get it. It's like you grew up around this, watching these shows and stuff.
Yes, and he created the one of the first theme parks, and we went there in 1966. We went on a cross-country trip. We have some great home movies of all that stuff. I just got all our home movies digitalized, so hopefully I'll be making some videos out of that.
Oh, yeah, you got to put them up.
I finally caught up to the 21st century and got an iPhone, and I've been making little videos using these puppets that my grandmother made in West Virginia in the 50s and 60s. One of them is on the cover of Dreamgirl. And I've had some of them up on my Facebook page and also on the fan page on Facebook, but I also hired a temporary millennial. I think, she'll be a millennial temporarily as well.
Temporary millennial?
To help get me on Instagram and get a YouTube channel up. So that's all in the works. And
oh, cool.
Eventually I hope to make some little homemade videos, which are really fun to do. And
I'll tell you, use iMovie. It's really easy.
Yeah, yes. Oh, yeah, and you were going to help me out. So
Oh, yeah, I can help you out anytime you want. Okay, so you have another song on this record called Ayahuasca the Movie, right? Which is, I think this is my favorite track on the record.
Oh, yeah, and that worked out live.
Oh, it did?
Really well. Really, I was hoping to get up there in San Francisco, but I have to bring my other my musicians. So later we'll talk about how we can strategize that because...
Yeah, if you ever need a house band, let me know. I'm just kidding, but honestly, if you
no, not kidding. we have a band here in the studio.
Yeah, but, okay, but
you need a San Francisco band.
But you know what? Well, that would be great, except that This show is more of a piece of theater, and there's so many
Right.
cues, and I would drive everybody crazy, particularly myself, trying to teach everybody the cues, like within a 24-hour period. That would just...
Miss Magnuson on stage, you really get. I saw your solo show before in L.A. and like it's insane what you do up there. People
Yes,
don't understand.
It is, and
it's so
I don't
great.
do
It's
very often because it really takes a lot out of me.
You're one of my favorite live performers of all time. But what I wanted to ask you was Ayahuasca the movie based on a real psychedelic trip you took on ayahuasca?
No, I'm too chicken to take that. It was a dream I had.
Oh, okay.
So the whole thing is a dream, which, honestly, I don't need to take ayahuasca because every night I go on an ayahuasca trip. I really do. So I'm a little worried. I'm intrigued by it, and certainly it seems to be all the rage. I mean, if the New Yorker is writing a piece about it, it's...
Oh man, here in SF, like we have a whole bunch of influx of people with new money here, and
Yes.
and they pay these shamans lots and lots of money to go to the woods and do ayahuasca in their in their suits.
Can't we get one of them to pay me lots of money to come up there and do my live show? It doesn't have to be a lot of money. I just want to pay all the guys what they need, and now it's so expensive to go up to San Francisco. Where would we stay? Is the Phoenix Motel still there?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is,
it is.
and it's really expensive to stay there too. And
Oh,
it's right in
God.
the. Do you have any fond memories of San Francisco at all?
Oh, my God, so many. I couldn't even begin to... I mean, San Francisco had the best audiences I've ever played in front of, but when I went up there not too long ago to be in Paul Nathan's Dark Cabaret, it was a couple years ago, the audiences have completely changed because of the tech, and
Yeah, it sucks here.
I saw what happened in the East Village, where I lived for a long time.
Yeah.
And now it's happened in San Francisco, and now it's happened in Silver Lake.
Right. Yeah. I was going to ask you, like, you were part of that magical New York scene, and it just seems like there's nothing like that anymore anywhere in the country, right? Where is it? There's nothing like.
I bet there are pockets, but I think they look a little different, and I'm sure there's stuff in other countries. It's just, we go out to Joshua Tree a lot, and there's a nice community there, but that's starting to get discovered by, people with money.
Yeah.
So
I want to ask you just about some of your past career right now, because
Okay.
your career's always blown me away. Like, I first learned about you, like I said, because when I was a kid, that Richard Lewis, Jamie Lee Curtis show, Anything But Love, was on the air, and you were in that show. And then I loved everything on Shimmy Disc. I loved Boredoms and Guar and John Zorn and Ween and
Yeah.
Butthole Surfers, and which you shared a label with all these weird bands. And Bongwater for me is right up there with bands like Butthole Surfers and Ween and stuff. And then it was hard to reconcile in my brain as a kid that this is the same woman,
Yes.
But I remember we played a Vulcan Death Grip song to start the show, which was your metal band, but you were satirizing metal. Like, who exactly was your target?
Satirization ended about 5 minutes into the rehearsal because it was so fun to play that music that although, yes, the song titles and it was all pretty silly, but it was so fun to play that stuff that...
You did it really well, and I'll tell you, you were the lead singer, Raven, in Vulcan Death Grip, and I think your outfit and hair in that, when you did Raven, I think it really informed the look for the rest of my girlfriends for the rest of my life.
Yes, well, that was a look that was pretty well established earlier on by the likes of a lot of rock chicks.
Yeah. Well, you did it really well. So I want to ask... Oh, okay, so everyone go get Ann Magnuson's new CD. It's called Dream Girl. You get it right on AnnMagnuson.com. It's on CD,
Yeah,
baby. It's really great.
You can just send, if you're domestic in the U.S., $15. I'll send you a signed CD, and you just do it through PayPal.
Oh, I don't even... I need a signed CD. I don't even have one. Ann, I got to tell you, like, the playing and the musicianship is so good on this, and your voice sounds gorgeous, and your lyrics are like... I don't know. It's just the top of your game. I've been listening to 2 albums regularly, the new Nick Cave and yours, and I place them at the same level. They're
Wow.
really
Well,
both
you know what?
right up there for me.
I can just quit right now. I mean, that's highest praise.
Thanks a lot, Corey.
Let me ask you.
I heard one of the songs. I haven't gotten it yet, but I heard one of the songs on the radio, and as usual, wow.
Well, I want to play a song. Oh, one of the new Nick Cave songs. Yeah, it's really
Nick
intense.
Cave, yeah.
I want to play a song from the new CD in a little bit, but before, let me just get a couple more questions in. Do you look fondly back at your Bongwater experience, the days of being in that band? You guys were so sludgy and weird and psychedelic and dark. Like, it seems like it might have been a taxing project.
Well, I do. I have. There's so much distance now that I can look at a lot of periods in my life with gratitude. Mm-hmm. And it was a very good project for me to be involved in. It really helped me tap into, this part that Carl Jung calls the shadow. And I was having a lot of angst in my life with my family and some others, mostly the family stuff. And I was able to give a voice to those feelings, and I think all artists do that, whether you're working in painting or film. But music is a really, really good way. And that kind of music, that kind of sludgy psychedelia, it really is a very good vehicle for psychosis. I just read this book that came out recently called Upping Your Ziggy, how David Bowie... what's the subtitle? Something like How David Bowie Tamed His Inner Demons and How You Can Too. It's by a psychologist named Oliver James. He's British. He's pretty well known in England. And it's a really good book, and it's about how David Bowie used persona and as a therapeutic tool. And it gets into very heavy stuff. I think anybody who's a David Bowie fan should read it, but I think anyone who is an artist should read it, because it's an interesting way to get into Jungian psychology through that way that's a little more understandable to the layperson. But there's this...
What's it called again?
Upping Your Ziggy.
Oh, Upping Your Ziggy. I thought you called it Upping Your Yugi for some reason. I mean, what's a Yugi?
It's kind of a dopey title, but the guy's name is Oliver James. And he talks a lot about how David Bowie had a half-brother who went mad and eventually killed himself, and how David Bowie kind of went to the edge of all of that, and he writes about it in all his music, and he's certainly been very candid about it in interviews.
Bowie's always been a huge, another thread in your work, a constant.
He's he's very hooked into the Jungian worldview, which I share, and he was also a beacon of an inspiration as to what an artist can be. And
you also totally made out with him in The Hunger.
Yes, and I got to do that.
Was he a good kisser? I know you've probably answered this a million times, but I have to ask. Was he a good kisser?
Yeah, he was a very aggressive kisser.
Oh.
I think Candy Clark said the same thing when she worked with him.
Really? Okay, thank you for the book recommendation. That does sound right up my alley.
I was rather long-winded, but the point he was making that I think is interesting is that Bowie he was always afraid of going mad, and I think they said as he opened the door, looked around, saw what it was, and then took a different door called artistic self-expression instead of the one that was like total insanity. And I think a lot of people who are creative were on the edge sometimes, and
what if you're fat and you're not handsome like David Bowie, but you're still that insane? What do you do?
You still create. Still create.
All right, I'm just going to keep creating then.
Martha Graham wrote an incredible letter to Agnes de Mille. Everybody should Google that. It's actually linked on this Huffington Post Q&A I just did recently. They just posted it today. So it's a great letter about how you have a responsibility to your own unique expression of creativity that belongs to you and you only. And if you do not give voice to it, it will be lost forever. And it's not your job to to care or wonder what other people think about it. Your only job is to give that unique voice, expression. And I think in a band like Bongwater, or a lot of the work that people do that we like, it's a, and the guy brought it up in the book, it's a way to be safely psychotic. Those are actual words from the book, and that he applied to David Bowie, that he could take these characters and let them act out the feelings, the frustrations, the angst, the fears, whatever it is, rather than himself. And I think anyone who works in the arts, that's the shamanic experience. That is what art is. When the Greeks did theater, it was a religious experience. It wasn't entertainment. It was something that was taken very seriously, that you went to in order to experience catharsis, which was, I can watch these other people go through all this stuff, so I don't have to.
This is me doing the radio show every week. That's how I feel. I'm doing it. This is a Greek tragedy here.
But it can be like baking cookies, or it can be no, it could be walking down the street and just giving someone a smile. It doesn't have to be the thing that wins you a Grammy or an Oscar or an Emmy.
Yeah.
I guess the Emmys are on right now, and that stuff is just that's a complete con game, really. In the end, it's a distraction from what is important. It's not about winning a prize. It's about giving. It's about healing yourself through expression, and however that wants to manifest itself. It has value. It just has value because it is.
Thank you, Anne, for saying that. And it's really the way you put it in perspective like that. It makes sense why, like on your new album, for instance, it's you're at the top of your game because you know how to get it out and focus it. And
well, it's taken a long time, but I think that this is one of the values of getting older, and we don't hear much about that in the media either, because after 40, people are considered, might as well turn them into Soylent Green.
Yeah, I hear so much of people like, if people are still touring from the 70s, and they're still playing casinos, or, or like Corey Feldman was just on the Today Show, and he's, trying to do his thing, and people just love to hate people who were once famous and still trying to do something.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I wrote a piece, actually, for this magazine that came out of San Francisco called Dinosaur. They're retooling it now, but it was about how it was before David Bowie passed away, and I wrote about how his retreat from fame was actually very inspiring. But in this climate, who wouldn't want to retreat from that? Because it's like the villagers chasing after Frankenstein, but instead of torches and pitchforks, it's selfie sticks and camera phones, and this is a very basic Jungian idea about the shadow. Everybody has, the light and dark, and the darker part of us. If you don't get to know that and be friends with it, you project it onto other people. And we're living in a real age of ignorance and anger and hostility, where people are taking things that have nothing to do with somebody like Corey Feldman and projecting all their shit onto that because it makes them feel better. But it's like a drug.
You hit the nail on the head. It's amazing.
It's not sustainable. Well, this is all basic psychology, but there's great stuff online on YouTube. This woman, Dr. Marie-Louise von Franz, who was an associate of Dr. Jung, and they have, she's got there's videos of her. I actually wrote a whole bunch of blogs for Magnet Magazine to promote Dream Girl, and they're all on Magnet now. And the second one is about her. So if, take a look at those. There's all sorts of cool stuff that I think has been really valuable to me in my life and on my journey of trying to, get out of what Jungians called the swamp land of the soul, and sort of siphoned it through the Magnet blogs. So it's all up there.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'll check those out. The new album is called Dream Girl. It is absolutely amazing to me. I love it, and I think you should check
so
it out.
Glad, yeah.
AnnMagnuson.com.
I'm just channeling
CD
stuff
baby.
That,
and I have like a million.
Carl Jung.
I love
all about him.
Carl Jung. Yeah, the what's the little beetle?
Scarab.
The scarab. The
scarab beetle.
Right.
Synchronicity.
Yes.
It's synchronicity that I ended up in contact with you, and you're on this show, and you're just one of my favorites. And thank you so much for being on the show, Ann. This was really a treat, and I hope we could talk to you again sometime.
Very wordy and talky.
Oh no, I love it. I hope I could talk to you again sometime because I have a million more questions for you. But I think I want to play Cobras in Love right now. And can you talk a little bit about that song before I play it?
Yeah, that was a dream I had, and it's just basically a dream that I had.
Okay.
It went over very well
It was
at
about
the live
me.
show last night. And
I like
I
it.
really hope I get to perform this stuff live for you guys up there.
Oh, God, please make it happen. Or I'm going to come down to L.A. and next time you do it anyway. But, yeah, come in. And Ann Magnuson, you are the best. Thank you so much. And I hope to talk to you
Corey.
soon.
I really appreciate it.
No problem. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Mwah.
Ann.
All right, Ann Magnuson. All right, I'm going to play a song for her new album, Dream Girl, real quick. We'll be back with Sad Vicious. And this is only a 2-minute song, you guys. So
My drag name is Man Dragmanson.
Oh, that's a good. one.
Can I just say that was one of the greatest summations of like the point of artistic expression.
Absolutely.
That was fucking,
Yeah.
she
She gets
knocked
it.
it out of the park, man. It's unbelievable.
And
Yeah.
it didn't sound like bullshit from her end.